The good news is you can do this. And I'm going to encourage you, whatever you've been through, my prayers are with you. My thoughts are with you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rolla, clinical psychologist. Today is episode 24 about my life after divorce. This is a self-disclosure series that's been incredibly powerful for me to share with you. I tend to hide away when it comes to my life, believe it or not. I'm very jovial and friendly, but I also can shut myself down for days on end and just work. So I enjoy my own quiet. But this time around, I thought I'm going to be open to my viewers and bring to their attention some of the pain that I have experienced, but also the blessings, the lessons, the reflections, the growth that I've experienced. And I hope that this will be a great encouragement to anyone who is struggling in any area. I believe I'm a better speaker, I'm a better communicator, I'm a better therapist, I'm a better person because of what I went through. And but I'm not gonna minimize the amount of work, spiritual work, spiritual work, mental work, and really physical work. I have worked my tail off. I've worked. Whatever needs to be done that is legal. Within my profession, I'll do it. So I've worked, immense amount of work, but been incredibly gratifying to see myself now and say, oh my God. And I tell this to myself, I can't help it. Girl, you are bad. You are it. Which means that you've overcome tremendous obstacles to get here, and you're still standing. Not just standing with confidence, standing with joy, standing from a place of forgiveness, not blaming other people, healthy physically, healthy mentally, positive about my life, positive about the future. And then, of course, grateful to God for giving me 15 years after a divorce that was traumatic for me. 15 years to be able to share my experience with you. That is, yes, what I've done, but I've also enjoyed tremendous grace from God in heaven. So let me share some of the lessons I've learned. And many of them are unexpected lessons. Things I thought I knew, but I didn't know. Number one, you may be the only one standing when it comes to believing the best for your life. There's enough research out there about the long-term impact of divorce. And there was a research that was done years ago that I went to a study, some classes when I was learning this. There's a longitudinal study that shows the intergenerational impact of divorce. I knew about this research so much that I literally pleaded at some point that we don't get divorced. But when it eventually happened, and I began to believe that things would get really better for me, I was shocked at the number of people that could not connect with my level of faith. Some of the people that could not connect with my level of faith were people who were very prayerful, people that believed for all kinds of things like people being sick, God healed them. But something about being divorced, it was as if they felt like this was an exception to the rule. And I had one wonderful pastor that I highly respect tell me, but this is divorce, Rolake. This is divorce, which means there's always going to be a big issue that you have. And I said, yes, I know it's divorce, but I've taken over. and I walk through divorce and I come out of it and my life is way better than it can ever be. And then I started telling him what I'm believing for. It's as if that divorce is a label or a stigma that will prevent me from being everything that God has called me to be. Get ready when you go through loss, because you may be the only one standing when it comes to faith and hope for a better future. And don't get mad or too frustrated when people can't believe. They just can't believe for you. Sometimes you're the only person. And somebody out there that you don't even know with God on your side. What I learned from my divorce is that it's totally fine to be the only one who is believing for better. And that even though other people have low expectations of me in terms of my future, my potential, what I can do, where I can go, that should not stop me from moving forward. There's a sense of aloneness when it comes to believing with divorce. I know that if I was married, some of the way I was being talked to, not being rudely, but being told about me being kind of dissuaded from being too hopeful, I don't believe that would have been the case if I was married. So I knew it was a function of me being divorced. But can you hope in spite of what you've been through? And I had to do that. The second one is that when you go through a loss, I went through the loss of divorce, you may go through other losses that you did not expect. So the loss of a marriage is, okay, the marriage is over. People now know you're divorced. Be ready for the domino effect of that one event. Accompanied with that loss of marriage was the loss of respect. People lose respect for you. People that were totally calm, nice, respectful, now talk down at you, ignore you. There were other losses that were all connected to that divorce. And I had to compartmentalize and understand this loss of respect from people or whatever the other losses are is connected to the divorce. So I saw those losses as a natural consequence of the divorce, and I refused to allow it to weigh me down. Let me explain. So if I'm way down, obviously initially, about being divorced, then I'm way down that somebody doesn't like me, then I'm way down that somebody doesn't treat me the same because I'm divorced, then I might be way down that some of my friends are no longer my friends. That is a lot of loss. I had to go, all that is connected to the divorce. And if the divorce did not harm me or kill me, these are the ones I'm not going to. Sometimes when you go through losses, there will be other losses that accompany that loss, so that the grieving may seem somewhat extended. Be ready. It's part of a journey. That's my second lesson. The third one is that you may need to renegotiate relationships after a major loss. After my divorce, my marriage ended. I had to renegotiate my relationship with my children. Now I'm in a home with me as a single mother. It's a different dynamic. Renegotiate that. Renegotiate my relationship with my mother. I love my mom. My mom is my idol. I know we should not have any idol, but human idol. There's no other idol on this planet like my mama. But even my mom, I had to negotiate with her. Let her know, I am not married anymore, but you're not going to treat me like a baby. I'm grown. I had to renegotiate relationship with my ex-husband. that forced me to begin to really look inward and be careful about how I work those relationships out. What do I do with those relationships? I make sure that I'm showing respect for the other person, showing respect for my children and all the other relationships, but I'm also looking out for myself. Because I realize that oftentimes everybody's trying to figure out how to survive. My daughters are trying to figure out. God bless my sweetheart. My ex-husband is trying to figure out. I need to look out for my own interests. Renegotiate those relationships and verbalize what my needs are. And have boundaries. Not just boundaries for them to not cross, but boundaries that I am not going to cross as well. Your relationships are more likely to change when you face challenging times. And if you allow it to shock you too much, you may not be able to move forward. I had to accept it is a natural consequence for the relationship to change. And I can't be all mad that people are not doing what I want. What I need to do is to take responsibility and assert myself as to what I need. And do it consistently so that all those relationships and others are now very solid relationships, in my mind at least, where I believe that I'm respecting the other person and they're respecting me. And I'm not being railroaded. The fact that I'm divorced does not mean that I should just lay down there for anybody to walk over me. We have to renegotiate. We have to communicate. Because without confidence, how can I move forward? These relationships I was renegotiating was helping me to verbalize my needs and growing my confidence. And that extended to the marketplace, to business, to my landlord, to my builder. Every area of my life, I've had to assert myself. So this was the beginning, those close relationships. Letting them know the fact that I've gone to divorce don't mean nobody's walking all over me out here. Because there's no husband to take care of me. I gotta pay my bills and stuff. If my self-esteem is eroded, I can't function. So it's important that as we renegotiate those relationships, that they understand that I am a person that is deserving of respect as well as they are. And divorce is not an excuse to use me and walk over me. Because the price to pay for that is too high. You can't be walked over and develop your potential and heal the way you need to. So I had to protect myself. And this doesn't mean my family members are harmful. It just means that I had to look out for my own interest. I also needed to listen to them. What are their needs? And see how I can support them as well. Because I need them as much as they need me. Another lesson, and I can't remember what number that is. I think it's number 4. There will always be a vacuum when you experience a loss. And that's not always a bad thing. I say this because many times people, when they go through losses, they want to quickly, there's a temptation, and this is normal, to fill that vacuum. It could be with another person very quickly. It could be with your children. It could be alcohol, drugs. Whether the issue, the things that you're using to fill up the vacuum are good or bad, you don't want to lose sight of the reality that you've been through a difficult situation. And as time has gone on in these 15 years, I have acknowledged what I went through, verbally to myself, verbally to other people, but even to myself. And I have embraced the emptiness of not having a husband. But what I've also done is not resented the emptiness. And as I have embraced that vacuum, acknowledging that I've been through something difficult. I have seen numerous opportunities to work through that pain, to fill that vacuum with things that are wholesome. It is possible to fill that vacuum with things that are not wholesome. It may not even be another man. It could even just be being a workaholic. It could be making an idol of your children and being emotionally dependent on them. It's okay to have a vacuum. It keeps me vulnerable, but it also keeps me aware of the reality that what I put into that vacuum is important. It's okay to not be filled up and cover up what you've been through. Let it just sit for a while. And this is not for everybody, but for me it worked. It's okay. There are many other positive ways as you begin to rediscover yourself, your identity, your needs, how to cope. There's so many other positive ways that you will begin to explore so that when you look at that vacuum, it doesn't break you down anymore. It's just part of your journey, but it's no longer defining you in a negative way. Yes, it may define you, but not in a negative and a detrimental way. It's actually defining you in a way that is uplifting. And I believe as I'm sharing this series with you today, my divorce has defined me in a way that is uplifting and validating for me. Another lesson is that hurt people do not always hurt people. I was deeply hurt because of my divorce, but I had a choice. Doesn't mean I've been perfect, nobody is. But I made up my mind that because I was hurt, I was actually going to treat people the way I wanted to be treated. And to me, that has been one of the greatest lessons ever. It's actually the best revenge. For somebody to hurt you or for you to feel betrayed, and then you start treating people, not just the people who hurt you, everyone you come across, work hard to treat them as respectfully as possible. That, from a spiritual sense has been life transforming for me. I actually am convicted, and I feel that decision to treat people well is a powerful spiritual weapon against the enemy, against Satan. Because what then happens is a heart that is hurting and broken suddenly becomes joyful and gets better and stronger. You also attract a lot of people to yourself. I have an extended family in terms of people that have helped me and supported me, and most of them don't even want to be acknowledged. They don't care about it. They don't come back and need anything. They just want to be there for me. Hurt people do not have to hurt people. People who are hurt can heal other people. And I'm so grateful that I realized that if I allow that hurt to eat me up to the extent that I'm hurting others, then the people that hurt me would have won. Then they have defeated me. But if I go out there and act so different from how I believe I've been treated wrongly, oh my God, what a wonderful way to live. What a powerful revenge. What a powerful way to move forward from difficulties. So we've gone far in this video, and I haven't finished sharing my lessons. I might share it another time, I'm not really sure, but this is the 15th anniversary of my divorce. If I was married, I would have been 30 years married last year. And now I am single. I have been single longer than I've ever been married. If anybody told me that I'll be where I am today, feeling good, positive about life, about myself, about people, about relationships, if anybody told me that I'll be talking to you about this experience, I would not believe it. If anybody told me that my children would be highly independent in their careers and successful young ladies, by the grace of God, both went to Yale University, Duke University, young people who are just thriving and trying to do everything they can to make their way in this world, I will not believe it. If anybody told me that I would be positive and support other people in their marriages and counsel them to work through difficult situations, I would not believe it. But here I am, 15 solid years later. I am not ashamed that I'm divorced. I'm not ashamed that I've gone through pain. I'm not ashamed that I've felt pain. And also, I'm not ashamed to heal. And I'm not ashamed to grow. The very last thing before I finish this video is that nobody can waste your time. That's another powerful lesson for me. Nobody can waste your time. When I had my divorce, I said, 15 years is a long time. All that time is wasted. That is a broken perception of time. My children came out of there. That's not wastage. I loved on my husband the best way I knew. That's not wastage. I gave him my best. That's not wastage. That's my life. That is valuable time. It is not gone because it ended in divorce. Instead of looking at the time as wasted, what about the tremendous potential in the minutes that we have now, in this very moment, in your future? So my marriage was never a waste and will never be a waste. And these 15 years of being single has not been a waste either. So please subscribe, share this with as many people as possible. I'm enjoying the series. I'm opening up. And I hope that you can draw some strength from my story and my journey. And that whatever you're going through, please work through the process. Don't give up. There's light on the other side. There's light on the other side. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.